waiting for Councillor Mackie. Councillor Mackie has joined us, and we have a do this first. We have a request from Councillor Mackie to join us by digital means because she has carer duties today. So can I have somebody to pass that message? Thank you. And a seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Can I open the meeting? And first of all, with acknowledgement of country. And may I first acknowledge the traditional owners of land we meet on today. And I humbly pay my respects to the people of the Wiradjuri and Ngunnawal nations, their past, future and emerging elders. And housekeeping, if you're asked to evacuate, the emergency procedure is to exit via the door leading out of the building directly outside the council chambers and proceed to the footpath opposite the council chambers and await further instructions. This council meeting is being live streamed, recorded and published in accordance with council's live streaming in council meeting policy. To those present in the gallery today, we have none. By attending a public meeting of the council, you are consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published. Anyone who is invited to speak will be recorded and their voice, image and comments will be made part of the live stream and recording. The chair and or the general manager have the discretion and authority at any time to direct the termination or interruption of live streaming. Such direction will only be given in exceptional circumstances where deemed relevant. Circumstances may include instances where the content of debate is considered misleading, defamatory or potentially inappropriate to be published. Attendees are advised that they may be subject to legal action if their actions result in inappropriate and or unacceptable behaviour and or comments. Now, attendance, we have Jo Mackie, so thank you for allowing her to join by Zoom. Do we have any other apologies? No, we don't. Well, this afternoon, the one item is EOM 6.1, 22, 21, preparation of the 2021-22 financial statements. The recommendation is in front of you.
Move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Armstrong. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Piper.
There was one that I sent you this morning for the extraordinary. That's the Zoom link.
We're right. Just a bit of an interruption. Discussion. Comments?
I'll reserve the right to speak last.
Yes. Thank you, Councillor Armstrong. Would the Chief Financial Officer like to speak to this recommendation?
Hear me? Yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, we present the financial statements for audit to the Audit Office and to Deloitte, the contract auditors, following resolution of this meeting. I'm happy to provide any summary. I did provide a summary to the briefing last Wednesday. Obviously, there's been an improvement in the water fund, the sewer fund, and the consolidated position. And the general fund has certainly improved from 8.5 million unfavourable to 1.8. Our cash position, in summary, has reduced from a 2.8 million unrestricted cash balance to a small variance of $56,000 positive. So that highlights that we're moving in the right direction. As I pointed last week, there was a FAG grant that was received late, and it was also received late in 2020 for a different amount. It was about 2.7 million this year, but last year it was around 2 million received in 2021. So that needs to be taken into consideration, and we're obviously looking for that. Because the wages reduced 2.7 million, we must remember that the FTEs at 30 June 21 were 229. And obviously, as part of the restructure at 30 June 22, we only had 198. And obviously, so that's a reduction, and that contributes partially to the $2.7 million saving in employee wages. I should point out that we also received, as a result of our wages reduction, a refund from the State Workers' Comp Board of $461,000 in net terms. So that was also a bonus. I think the councils would note that our materials and services, which is unfortunately a trend across the globe in Australia, was up by 2.8 million, and we obviously see that trend continuing through the 22-23 year. You'll notice that our assets, we revalued our water and sewer assets, and as a result of that, in the income statement, you'll see the depreciation has increased by about $1.5 million from memory. Waste rehab costs were up $417,000 in the year as well. So these are things we're taking into consideration. Need to note that in our operating grants, our RMS work was led to an improvement of 2.1 million. So obviously we're relying on that continuing through the new year, and that really was the contributor to our user charges increase, the RMS work. Capitalisation of wages in this year, we were budgeting at around the end of March for 2.5 million. That turned out to be 3 million. So in our statement, so that's a bonus. Yes, it's below the previous 21 year 5 million, but that was only about 2 million at the end of 20, which is an improvement result. That certainly was a pretty good effort considering the weather conditions, COVID, drought, and the rain that we had in 21-22. We got some OLG funding, which contributed to some of our other expenses being reduced by $292,000. And we also received additional funds through the diesel rebate. And we'll also achieve that again in 21-22. So if I can summarise the consolidated position, obviously, as I said, water improved, sewer improved, as shown in the statements. Our consolidated position has improved from 5.6 million overdrawn to 1.6 consolidated, and the general fund did improve by around 6 million. So our movement from March in the March quarterly report of 7.5 million in our position at that point. As I said, we got the FAG grant of 2.7 million. Our RMS increased revenue of 2.1. We had storm funding of 1.6 million. The diesel fund rebate, as I mentioned, 487,000. Rates and charges, but that was in line with the statutory increase, 672,000. Capitalisation of wages increase, as I said, 0.5 million from that March position. Should mention within our cash, we improved the sale of land in last year, $227,000. And this year, the sale that's before us, in fact, on the morning of the council meeting, is about $143,000. So that'll be a reduction in our receivables and a cash benefit. And we do have some outstanding grants that we are attempting to recover from government as we speak. I don't know if there's any more questions or I can add to any specific areas of concern. Did I go too fast, or everybody took that in? Or
a question?
One question, through you, Madam Mayor. Just in regard to the diesel fuel rebate, you mentioned that was close to $500,000. Is that a full year's rebate, or is it more than 1 year's rebate?
It's more. Good question. It's more than 1 year.
Okay, so I guess the bottom line is we can't expect another $500,000 in the next 12 months.
There's 147,000 coming in for the quarter in July. So that's been received in cash and through our income statement. I expect we'll get about, I think we will get about another 250,000 between now and 30 June. So we're keeping those rebates up to date, and I'll keep progress on that when we do the quarterly report.
Thank you.
Councillor Ingram, you had a
I'd just like
question?
to mention that Councillor Flannery has contacted me. He'd like to be noted as an apology. He's been trying to connect to the meeting via Zoom. I just made him aware that he wouldn't be able to connect by Zoom. So he said if he could be put in as an apology for the meeting. I said, well, I'll just mention it and see what people have to think about it. The only other comment I make in regards to the financials is that I probably should have started talking about the merger 18 months ago. Marv's what a bit of talk about the merger done. We've turned around in 3 months, $6.5 million. I'll be happy to send them off to the audit's office.
Thank you. Councillor Ingram.
Through you, Mayor. Have council received any monies yet from either of the wind farms?
Not that I'm aware of, no. No, the Bango Wind Farm, waiting on that. There's a, I think Sarah's put a an ad out on the paper. We're waiting on that being formed, but we've not received any money from the wind farms now.
Councillor Flannery, his apology. I'll just put it to the floor. To
Can I just mention
apology.
something, Mark? Can I just mention something, Mark?
Can I put this first, Councillor?
It's just that I tried a lot of different links and I finally got onto Zoom. So there might be just one more that he hasn't tried because it took me ages, but I found the most recent one.
No.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the issue is there needs to be a request to attend via Zoom, but that doesn't take away the ability to ask for an apology. So,
well, I can move to accept the apology. Can I have a seconder? All right. Those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. All right, councillors, we'll move back. And Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the General Manager, the CFO, and his staff on the production, the timely production of the financial statements. This is something that Hilltops has not been able to achieve since its formation. This is a number one. Congratulations, and please keep up the good work. To councillors, I think that we better take a step back, even though this is a very good result and certainly heading in the right direction. It's what we might call a windfall result. $7.7 million worth of additional income that we didn't know about 3 months ago, or back in March, sorry. We've received. There's no guarantee we're going to get that 7.7 million next year. So I don't think we can sit back on our laurels and say she's all fixed. The other issue, of course, is that the general fund is still running at a deficit. Water and sewer fund have effectively provided this result, not the general fund. So when the full statements are provided to council and the community, I would urge everyone to review the performance of the individual funds, and you'll see very clearly that the water fund and the sewer fund are the financial saviours for us in this particular year. But nevertheless, that doesn't take the shine off the excellent work that's been done by the staff in the production of these. And once again, my hearty congratulations and thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Armstrong, and I'd like to endorse your statements, as I think all of us do. Councillor Ingram, you have a comment?
I have something else that I mentioned in regard to the improvement, and yeah, it's great news, but notice that the employee costs are down. Well, we also know that our staff numbers were down to below 200, and I've noticed in the last 3 or 4 months where we've just had one continual advertisement for employees. So I'm wondering how we're going to keep the employee costs down when we put another 30 employees on. So that'll be interesting to see how it comes out next year, given that I've been told that next year will be $2 million less than this year. So I've got that documented, so I look forward to that coming to fruition. I don't know how, but I look forward to it.
Thank you, Councillor Ingram. If there are no further...
Another question.
Yes,
I guess
Councillor.
it's a question that is up to council. The surplus that we've achieved in terms of our cash, we haven't decided what we're going to do with that. But I do note that employees' leave entitlements are depleted to the point that they are now below the level that existed within the former Young Shire Council at amalgamation. I think that we probably should be looking fairly seriously at throwing any surplus cash that we've got there back into topping those ELEs up, given the provisions that exist in our liabilities. I'll take a comment for that.
Certainly, you're correct. I didn't mention that I think I mentioned that last week at the briefing. But yes, we did pay out a number of staff, long-serving staff that moved on prior to 30 June. And so, yeah, the early provision is down, has decreased. We've also got our receivables down, although receivables have gone up because of some of our grants that are outstanding. But our debtors' receivables have also actually decreased as well. But yes, we have decreased. Good observation. I don't know what the balance was back in the young days, but certainly the ELE provisions is reduced. That's correct. Yes, we paid a lot of, and so on top of the saving, we paid a lot of staff out at the time that chose to leave. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you for the discussion, and I think if we'll put it to the vote. All those in favour of the motion that has been put forward to us, and that the financial statements be referred to audit in accordance with the Local Government Act. Those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, councillors, and thank you, staff, for all the work that you've done in the preparation of these papers. And with that, I will close the meeting at 4:50. Thank you.